So today we will discuss about that why sometimes OOPs are confusing, like why some people actually find OOPs confusing, and the goals of a computer program. That is what we will discuss today. So basically it is a matter of perspective. So some societies are naturally object oriented, while some so why is it like some societies are naturally object oriented? So in some parts of the world you will find that if they buy a nut and a bolt from a different company, a manufacturer, and even then they fit with each other properly, while in some parts of the world, if they buy a nut and bolt from a different manufacturer, it might not fit. So there are probability that it might not fit. So yeah, so that is why those people who live or who are around that parts of the world, they find OOPs a bit confusing, while others they find they get it very naturally. So OOPs, this concept of object oriented programming, so it basically came from our physical world only. It was inspired by our physical world. So by this I mean that everything in our program also is a thing or a physical component, and our piece of code is also a thing or a physical component, and so we should actually treat it like that. And so whenever someone is using our computer program, so it will be really bad if they face an exception for a particular situation that was never mentioned, that it will throw an exception in that particular situation. So it is like if someone has bought a wheel for a car, and even then it is not fitting that car. So now you understand the goal of our code. It should be, so now I'll go towards the goal of a computer program. That is, it should definitely be correct, whether it is a correctly written code or not, whether it is giving proper output for a particular input, whether it is easy to read and understand, that how we decide whether this program is well written. And that is when we are easily able to read and understand it, it is well documented, so we can modify it easily. Like if anything needs to be modified, that helps us in making a program really good. And how much memory is needed to run the program, that helps us in performance of the code, and the time taken to run the program, that you all know about, that we read in data structures and algorithms, and how general by that I mean work for large range of inputs. Yeah, so even that is what I was telling here, that is the piece of code, a thing or a physical, that someone using it. So that is like when an exception comes like out of blue. So what that happens, or usually also happens usually when like it is not expecting that sort of input. And so we should make our code that much general that it should work for a large range of inputs without modification. And the best other important thing is that it should be able to compile and run over a different platform. That also tells us that your program is really good. So a correct or elegant or efficient solution for all real life problems, that is the main agenda of computer program, that it helps us to solve real life problems. Yeah, thanks, that's it.